Hi, Abby. Simultaneous equations. I think this kind of problem here is what you were talking about, that you had a question about, I think, where you've got two simultaneous equations, one of which is got a, say, minus y, and the other one has a plus y. So let's have a go at doing this. You've got to remember that with simultaneous equations, the name of the game is, well, you start off with usually two equations. So let's call this equation 1 and equation 2. And the idea is to come up with a third equation where we have effectively eliminated one of the variables. So whilst there are two variables we can't solve, but if we can eliminate one of those variables, then we're good to go. So when you've got a minus y and a plus y, it's actually pretty straightforward in that what we'll do is we'll put brackets around this second equation here, and we will add these two equations together. There's a couple of methods for solving simultaneous equations. This is called the elimination method, where we either subtract or add two equations together and eliminate one of the variables through that. So when we add these two equations together, let's see what happens. So we just add the like terms together. So 3x plus 2x gives us 5x. Cool. Now look at this. Minus y plus y will give us 0y. And 0 times anything is just nothing, so we don't have to write it at all. So minus y plus y is 0. And then the equal sign underneath each other, and 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So we end up with 5x is equal to 10. And then we can just solve for x. And you can either do that just by using your common sense. 5 times what equals 10? Well, 5 times 2, so x must equal 2. Or you can use balancing the equation, which basically means I've got 5x here, so I'm going to divide this side by 5. 5's will cancel out, leaving myself with x. And because I divided that side by 5, I have to do the same thing to the other side. 10 divided by 5, which equals 2. Gets me the answer I said before, x equals 2. Okay, so that's step 1. We've now got one of the variables worked out. We then use that piece of information to solve for the other variable. So what we do is we substitute x equals 2 into one of these two equations. Now, it doesn't matter which equation we choose, but you choose the one which you think looks a little bit easier to work on. I think equation 2 looks a bit easier. So we write this line here. We say substitute. So I'm going to do just substitute. Will do. Substitute x equals 2. Oh, not 4, sorry. Don't have to write 4. Substitute x equals 2 into equation 2. And then we literally do that. So here's equation 2. 2x plus y equals 5. So 2 times x. Instead of writing x, I'm going to write 2 now. So 2 times 2 plus y equals 5. Let's simplify that. 4 plus y equals 5. And now we're just going to solve for y. Again, you can use common sense. 4 plus what equals 5? 1. So y equals 1. Or you can use the elimination method, which says, use the balancing the equations, which is if we've got 4 plus y, we're going to take away the 4 to leave ourselves with y. 4 take 4 is 0, leaving myself with y. And because I took 4 away from that side, I'll take 4 away from that side too. 5 take 4 is 1. So now we have a value for x and a value for y. And so we can summarize this down below. Therefore, x equals 2, semicolon, y equals 1. Sometimes you might see this written as x comma y equals 2 comma 1. By the way, a really simple thing you can do just on a piece of paper along the side, I'll just do it in this box here, just to make sure that you've got it right, is you can say, okay, well, from equation 2, I worked out that y equals 1, so I had 2 and 1 as my answers. I can do a quick check by substituting them into the other equation to make sure that's right. So I can go, let's see, 3 times 2 minus 1. Okay, so that's the substitution for x there, and that's the substitution for y there. 3 times 2 minus 1 is equal to 6 minus 1, which is equal to 5, which is the same as the right-hand side value there, 5. So we can be pretty confident that 2, 1 is our solution. Hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps you finish your assignment.